Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. Very interesting breakdown for you all today. We're going to be going over some interesting fundamentals and some PDFs that were presented to us here in the CYPRX Research PDF Research Team chat. We're going to be talking about Ripple's connection to central banks, the European Digital Conference in 2023 that is on the horizon. Towards the end of March, we'll be getting into that in a little bit. We'll be jumping down the rabbit hole, connecting Ripple, as always, to this new digital infrastructure that they are building behind the scenes. We're going to be talking about the Central Bank of Brazil. We're going to be talking about XRP being labeled as a currency across multiple documents. I'm actually going to have to make this a part 2 video series because of how many fundamental documents and official documents I found during this deep dive. So this will be part 1. And then I'm also going to display a video breakdown on our Rumble page that you guys will be able to go and watch. I believe it's going to drop tomorrow as of the time that I'm recording this. So you should be able to watch it at the time that you're listening to this specific video. And I'll show you that in today's video breakdown. So if you enjoy these deep rabbit hole dives, again, connecting the dots, putting parts of the puzzle together for you all, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe. We do appreciate the love and the support. It does take time to make these video breakdowns, so we do appreciate your support. So we're going to start here on the homepage of the Digital Euro Association. And if you don't already know, they're holding a Digital Euro Association conference. This is their homepage. This was again shared to us in the CYPRX Research PDF chat group. And it goes on to say what this is about. It's about the European conference. It's, by the way, on the 31st of March, 2023. So I'm sure that we'll see some nice video, interesting clips come from this. It talks about exploring the latest data and developments in CBDCs, stablecoins, and tokenized commercial bank money, which is very interesting, specifically talking about stablecoins and CBDCs surrounding XRP and XLM and the whole controversy behind that. So when we get into that aspect of this, pay attention to detail, how XRP and XLM are always usually mentioned in correlation with CBDCs and currencies and stablecoins, okay? It goes on to say, join the digital money revolution. Keywords that we've been talking about here at CYPRX for quite some time, that there is a digital transformation happening, yet, you know, about 95% of the population is asleep to what is about to happen via our financial infrastructure. It goes on to say what this conference is about, exploring the latest developments in central bank digital currencies, stablecoins, tokenized commercial bank money, and gaining valuable insights into how these innovative technologies are shaping the future of money. Hearing from industry leaders, experts, and policymakers as they discuss the impact of these technologies on the economy and society. I like to pay attention to detail. It goes on to say industry leaders, experts, and policymakers, again, the regulators that are going to be regulating this new up and coming emerging financial ecosystem, okay? Distributed ledger technology, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and whatnot, Internet of Things, okay? When we scroll down here, who are the speakers particularly hosted at this event? We're going to come down here where it starts to talk about Ripple. There's some other interesting connections, again, that I'll have to get into in another video breakdown, but we see 2 representatives from Ripple. We see Anthony Ralphs, a leader, product manager, CBDC at Ripple, specifically CBDCs. Interesting. And a senior advisor, CBDC and global partnerships at Ripple, Anthony Welfare. All right, so 2 interesting speakers taking place at this Digital Euro Association conference. We're going to get into this, go down the rabbit hole. We can see the agenda for the Digital Euro conference, who's speaking at this, some big names. We see Ripple, we see IBM, Visa, okay, Onyx, JPM, Deutsche Bank, right? We see the European Central Bank, EY, all right, some major participants here, Bank of France, okay? So this isn't just some average, you know, Joe Schmo conference. These are big players in the market, the big fish, all right? So one of the PDFs to start down the rabbit hole, all right, let's scroll up to the top of this PDF, and it goes on to talk about the future of machine money, opportunities for stable coins in Europe. That was interesting and caught my eye. So if we scroll down here to page 7, It goes on to talk about trillions of dollars. And again, that T word always catches my eye. It's one of the key words that I do in the form of research when I'm looking at these PDFs. And it says, the Internet of Things, IoT, refers to the network of devices or items that are embedded with software and other related technologies for the purpose of sending and receiving data to other devices over the Internet. At the end of 2021, estimates show that there were $11.3 billion active Internet of Things devices globally, and it is expected this number will reach 30 billion in 2030. I think that that's a low ball, but it's okay. The emerging Internet of Things trend is impacting all stages of an industry and will become relevant for most other sectors in the near term, i.e. things that we've been talking about here on the CYPRX platform, which is the tokenization of all real assets. And it goes on to say, reports suggest that the potential economic value that the Internet of Things could unlock between US dollar 5.5 trillion and USD 12.6 trillion in value globally. Now, again, I think that they're lowballing these numbers on purpose, but still we see trillions of dollars potentially flooding into this market space. Okay, so I thought that that was interesting and that I'd share that with you all. Now back to the Ripple connection. So it goes on to say Digital Euro Association shaping the future of digital money. Okay, and again, in some way, shape, or form, Ripple's always connected to this, our expertise, talking about CBDCs and the digitization of the monetary system is progressing. The monetary system will undergo fundamental changes over the next decade. So, you know, if you're not going to believe it from us here at CYPRX, we've been conveying this message to you all for quite some time. People are starting to wake up. You know, here's the Digital Euro Association telling you all that within the next 10 years, that this transformation and this transformative technology is going to take place. Our standard members, we see Ripple, literally, it's interesting how they put them at the forefront. Okay, I find that interesting. You have to understand, as a developer who used to build websites, okay, for social media influencers and whatnot, I'm very particular with how I used to build my websites. And I know for a fact that the way that websites are built are on purpose. Okay, Ripple was mentioned here as the first market participant in this list, the standard members, on purpose. Then we have RTGS Global. We go on to see some other ones, EY, DZ Bank in Germany, okay, Circle, right? Very interesting. Moving on. This was a part of the website's active links that you can click, and it talks about a CBDC manifesto. This is where it's going to start to get interesting, all right? So if you click this CBDC manifesto PDF, it takes us over here to this PDF. This is from October 11, 2022. So it's not too old, a couple of months old. If we scroll down here to page 5 and 6, this is where it gets interesting in connections with Brazil and Ripple, on-demand liquidity, and XRP, all right? Pay attention to detail. You guys have to be able to connect these dots. However, the connections are always super deep. So check this out. This is again from the Digital Euro Association, whom we know that Ripple is going to be a key speaker and a key participant of that Digital Euro conference, okay, hosted at the end of this month on the 31st of March. And on this PDF, it goes on to say, in uncertain times, CBDC value units can be used as a part of an independent, sovereign, and sanction-resistant payment infrastructure to ensure monetary sovereignty. Projects, specifically in Switzerland and Brazil, show that these features can drive large-scale adoption. So we'll pause right there. We'll skip down here, where it goes on to talk about our outdated payment infrastructure. It says the present payment and settlement systems involves multiple intermediaries to perform basic financial transactions, thus leading to a highly interdependent reconciliation system that is complex, inefficient, and outdated. Only few current digital payment methods offer real-time settlement. Such transactions are expensive for merchants. A CBDC should aim to reduce the complexity of the current payment system by minimizing the number of intermediaries, as this will lead to increased efficiency through instant payment, pay attention, instant payment and settlement functionality being offered at a relatively reduced cost, thus creating value for the entire payment chain. Now, coming back up here to where it talks about who's involved in all of this, we see projects in Switzerland and Brazil being mentioned, okay? So let's take a pause and let's go back in time real fast. Let's go back to August 18th, 2022. Why are they talking about Brazil? Again, Brazil and Switzerland being mentioned on this specific PDF, the CBDC Manifesto PDF that is being shared by the Digital European Conference, okay? Ripple, the leading provider of enterprise blockchain and cryptocurrency solutions, today announced the launch of RippleNet's on-demand liquidity, ODL, in Brazil with CYPRX. Now, this is a little bit outdated, but watch how I'm about to connect this to you all via CBDCs and Ripple. Okay, so it goes on to say the first bank in Latin America to utilize on-demand liquidity. CYPRX is the first bank registered and approved by the Central Bank of Brazil to operate exclusively in foreign exchange. By utilizing XRP, a digital asset ideal for payments, Ripple's ODL solution allows customers to send money across borders instantly with very low cost settlement and without a need to hold pre-funded capital in its destination. Brazil is a key market for Ripple. Interesting. Given its importance as an anchor to businesses in Latin America, its openness to crypto and countrywide initiatives that promote fintech innovation, and as a result, the market is experiencing an explosion of activity as institutions look to adopt crypto and blockchain technology to solve customer pain points. Heading back over to that CBDC manifesto, we already know down here the pain points that it needs to handle and be efficient at. Okay, remember that right down here. It talks about increased efficiency through instant payment and settlement functionality being offered, right? Well, what is Ripple doing? It's, again, linking with CYPRX that is approved by the Central Bank of Brazil. So I found that interesting and I dug a little bit deeper. So again, notice how it mentions Switzerland and Brazil being showcases in this whole CBDC implementation value units. Do you guys remember back in the day, this is again an outdated article from June 3rd, 2020, Ripple and Brazil's central bank hold a closed-door meeting to discuss institutional matters. Interesting, right? Ripple, the company associated with XRP, the cryptocurrency, had a closed-door meeting with the Central Bank of Brazil on May 30th to discuss institutional matters. According to the financial institution's website, which we'll get into in just one second, its president, Roberto Campos Neto, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, had a video conference with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and 3 other representatives of the crypto firm. Ripple's ambitious plans for Latin America and Brazil in particular surfaced in June last year when the company launched a Sao Paulo office with its aim to expand across the continent. Remittance markets are the primary interest for Ripple as it intends to facilitate cross-border settlements with the XRP cryptocurrency. Brazil's remittance flows are valued at 2.5 billion, making the local market as desirable of a goal for the cryptocurrency company. So Ripple is already in connection with the Brazilian central bank, okay, in multiple ways. And here it says projects are being utilized and piloted in Switzerland and Brazil to show that this feature can drive large-scale adoption, right? We already know where this PDF came from, the European Digital Conference. Who were key speakers at this conference? Ripple, talking specifically about CBDCs. Well, if we come over here to the Central Bank of Brazil's website, where they literally mention and talk about virtual currencies, what does it say right here? The Central Bank of Brazil closely monitors the growth in the use of so-called virtual currencies, or encrypted, of which Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ripple are examples. Interesting, right? I just find it all funny, ladies and gentlemen, like I said. So that's going to lead me to tell you about this video breakdown where we do an in-depth video. This is going to drop on the Rumble page. There's way too much information on here that I feel like YouTube would most likely take down or monetize. So I'm only allowed to drop this on the Rumble page, but go check this out. It releases on the 17th of March. So yeah, hopefully by this video breakdown, you guys will be able to go check that out. But it talks about an in-depth perspective on how XRP was manipulated by the system and quote unquote classified as a security when the whole time these central banks have been calling it and labeling it a currency for the longest time. In this video breakdown particularly, I even show you how on the sec.gov website, XRP is labeled a cryptocurrency, okay? Now, if that's not enough for you on this central bank Digital Currency Manifesto. There's a whole bunch of links taking you down the rabbit hole to some other interesting PDFs. So like I said, I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this video breakdown, but here's another interesting PDF that took me down a rabbit hole: digital currencies, and stable coins. This is again a link directly from the CBDC Manifesto and Digital Euro Association links. Okay. And if we come over here and we scroll down to page 31, again, this is the G30 telling you all this, not me as just an influencer on the internet space doing research. This is the G30. Okay. It goes on to say, coordinating the introduction of global official sector stable coins. That is, okay, pause. Global official sector stable coins. Huh? What? Okay. Right here it says, by Ripple, a real-time gross settlement currency exchange, and Remnants Networks, whose digital currency, XRP, leapfrogs slow and expensive correspondent banking. Again, all in connection with the CBDC Manifesto, whom we know is presented by the Digital Euro Association, whom we know Ripple has 2 market participants speaking at this conference. Okay. I cannot stress enough, devil's in the details. This is another interesting link that stemmed from the Digital Euro Association website. Okay. This goes on to say distributed ledger technology options for CBDCs. This was posted September, I believe 26, 2022. So again, a little bit of an outdate on this, but it's still recent. And pay attention to what this PDF says. This is where I'm going to end it for you all in today's video breakdown. So if you've enjoyed so far the connection, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, and we'll go on to make a part 2, because there's literally over like 100 PDFs that stem from this one single Digital Euro Association website. So I'll get into this in another video breakdown. But to share this with you, again, we've talked about the collaboration between the public and private sector and how it is a must. It is 110% a must for that connection and collaboration to happen for CBDCs to thrive. However, what they're going to attempt to do, in my personal opinion, is lead people to believe that they're not going to utilize the private sector to build and orchestrate these CBDCs. Behind the scenes, they're going to slowly dilute everybody's brains into thinking that they're not, but you guys can clearly see, specifically talking about, for example, the Central Bank of Brazil, who is mentioned right here, being tested with CBDCs, okay, and whom we know is directly connected and correlated with Ripple, okay? Now, this is interesting. It says, within this context, central banks are approaching the realities of what a CBDC that is built on a distributed ledger technology will look like and the various options for its implementation. Let me zoom in for you guys so you all can see. It is often the case that the launch of any technological innovation with the banking sector is both accelerated and strengthened via the collaboration with companies that have cutting-edge technology in their field. This is especially true of CBDCs for 2 key reasons. First, given the scale, speed, and security necessary for any projects as widely used as CBDC, it is vital that central banks gain access to the most innovative technologies that have already been thoroughly tested within the private sector. Second, it is likely that any government-approved digital currency, whether CBDC, whether SCBDC or CBDC, that means stablecoin CBDC or CBDC, if I'm not mistaken, itself would involve some form of public-private partnership. So boom, right there, they're literally telling you all that they are going to be utilizing the private sector. Indeed, it is perhaps easy to forget that the existing monetary system in most countries constitutes a public-private sector partnership. Cash is designed by the central banks and then distributed by commercial banks, and the private money issued by commercial banks must be closely supervised and regulated by central banks. The same is true for the current cashless payment systems. Boom, again, right there, there's another gem, which is also to rely on public-private partnerships. And in anticipation of the collaborations, we established some basic criteria when choosing distributed ledger technology providers to partner with. The prospect of a more efficient payment system has been a primary reason for central banks' interest in distributed ledger technology options for central bank digital currencies. This is particularly the case with a cross-border payment. where the obstacles involved in translating between different payment systems, compliance requirements, and regulations cause significant friction for the need of intermediaries. Issuing CBDCs on distributed ledger technologies would help to resolve these problems by simplifying the process and providing automated mechanisms in the place of outdated manual processes that are both time-intensive and resource-intensive. So this is just a PDF confirming that these central bankers, they are going to work with private sector initiatives, private sector-led companies behind the scenes. And it even says right here, to prove that I'm not making this all up, Ripple did what with the central banks? They had a closed door meeting to discuss institutional matters, right? So many blessings to you all. Hope that you all enjoyed that little tiny video breakdown. Like I said, I'll do a part 2 to this, going down the rabbit hole on some other interesting PDF connections, not specifically tied to Ripple, but more so talking about this digital transformation and the collaboration between the public and private sector and central bank digital currencies. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video breakdown. As always, be cognizant, be aware, and make sure that you're doing your own personal research. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy Ripple stock or shares. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy XRP. This is just me presenting information to you all that is readily available to every single market participant out there that seeks to find it. All right. Everybody take it easy.